Welcome to the Future of Tourism podcast. I'm David Peacock.
Stop owning your own content.
Young leaders are stepping up.
Bring everyone to the table
and imagine their world anew.
We often ask, can one person really make a difference for the environment, for climate change, for community? My answer unequivocally is yes, and there are so many great examples. But today I want to talk about one young man from Kampala, Uganda, who is an inspiration to me. When it comes to emerging leadership in tourism, Queensland, Australia has its Young Tourism Leaders Program, Focusrite its Young Leaders Summits, Destinations International has its 30 Under 30, and European Cities Marketing has its annual ECM Summer School, to name but a few. We have all sorts of reasons as businesses and industries for investing in youth development. That includes helping young leaders hone their tactical abilities or building the emotional intelligence that they will need to be the leaders and change makers of the future. Many of our programs that recognize and nurture young leadership take place inside enterprises, in organizations. But today, I want to talk about an individual. I want to talk about a young entrepreneur who is just out there, often on his own, making a huge difference because of his own personal philosophy, because of his commitment to his core values and principles, and because of his love of travel and the opportunity it presents to make the world a better place through the sharing of authentic cultures and experiences. Keneth J. Hafasha is only 28 years old. He lives in Kampala in central Uganda, and he really is an inspiration, a true believer in the restorative capability of tourism. And this is the most striking thing you notice when you first meet Keneth, one of the most genuinely happy people I've ever met. Keneth loves what he does, and what he does is this. Inspired by the work of his professors at the Kampala University, he runs KenLink Tours, an immersive, sustainable, and regenerative tour company that brings people and gorillas in the wild together in a way that, quite frankly, moves many to tears. But beyond that, he runs a company that is happy to give 30% of its profit to making his community a better place. That's right, 30% of profits that goes to raising orphan children in the villages around the national parks, creating legacy value improvements in those villages and parks, and generally serving the community he lives in. One person, one small but impressive enterprise, making a real, sustainable, and regenerative difference through tourism. Good morning, Keneth. How are you? Where are you? What's it like?
Good morning, David. Thank you so much. I'm Keneth Hafasha J. I'm from Uganda in Kampala, the capital city of Uganda. I'm a tourism enthusiast and I'm passionate about tourism. I'm a tour guide, I'm a tour consultant, and I am a professional in the tourism industry. And above all, I love tourism and conservation and then local people. So what I do is my responsibilities are actually taking care of the environment, the wildlife, that is fauna and flora, then the local communities living close to the national parks. So it has made me feel so pleasure to connect to you and the audience, and then sharing the ideas about the love we have in for tourism, travel, and conservation.
So, Keneth, we've talked before, but I want you to share with the listeners, what's your mission in life? What drives you?
What drives me in what I do is basically passion and love. I love what I do, and I'm so passionate about what I do. If it means giving it all my time, I do, but I see it flowing smoothly. So basically, I'm driven by love and passion that I have for tourism and the people I live with.
Kenneth, you grew up in and around the national parks in central Uganda. That changed your view of the world. Tell me about growing up. Tell me about what you saw in those parks and how it influenced where you went to school and what you did next.
I grew close to the national parks. In my young age, I saw many people killing the animals. Others animals escape. They go to their homes. They destroy a lot of their things, their crops and other things. So it entered me, and I started thinking of the way I can be of help to the local people and then to the nature and to the animals. So I started looking about the ways I can be into tourism, then I can be of benefit to the local community and the wild animals. So I went to school. I studied from Kisoro district, and that was my primary level, and then up to secondary level. And then after that, I went to the university where I pursued tourism and travel management, which was my main passion. My main intention was basically to go and serve the local people and the wildlife, people living close to the animals. So when I went to the university, I went for tourism and travel management course, which has helped me to go on and explore more about tourism. And then after that university, I went ahead and did my travel business, where I started up travel business, that is Keneth Tours and Travel. But basically, the intention was not to do the profits, but basically to make the life between the people and the local and the national parks so friendly, so that they can live in harmony. So how did I plan to do this? My plan was, if I do my course at the university, I enter the tourism industry, I get the clients, I would be getting the little profits I get from the clients. Then I can use it to facilitate the local people living to the national parks. What I basically do, when you get the clients, I go to the national parks, get some profits I get, part of it, and then I go to the national parks. We teach people how best they can live without harming the animals and without animals harming them or killing them or maybe eating their things. So in case anything happens, we come and advise them to always give us a call, or they inform us about it.
So, Kenneth, let me ask you this. So, when you started your business, you're living in around these parks. You grew up there. You go to university, but you literally started your business with the idea that you were going to make the place you live a better place. You were going to contribute not just to the well-being of the people, but the animals as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I noticed talking to you is you seem extremely fulfilled by this. It seems to really make you happy and drive you forward to do more. Tell me about that.
One, it has made my life happy because I've met many new people. And more importantly, the more thing that make me so happy is that I meet many people who have got the same passion like mine. Many people I tell about my ideas, they always support it. The people I tell about supporting the local communities and the wildlife conservation, they are always supporting, because I've found many people who have got love and passion for nature and wildlife. So it has made me so proud and has made me feel like I've made a right choice. Because when you make a choice and they find many people are supporting it, it means you've made a very right choice. So it has made me so happy, because everyone around me loves what we do and they always support what we do. Everyone we talk about, even if we get clients from different places, and when they come, we give them idea that part of the profit we make from the tours is taken to the local communities, supporting the orphans and facilitating the conservation along the national parks. They're always happy and actually
Let me
donate
let
and
me let
support
me ask you a
us.
question about that. So, when your client comes, first of all, in all the KenLink material, you share the fact that you leave legacy value contributions to community, whether it's the orphans that you fund in the villages, whether it's the educational programs, sometimes it's infrastructure pieces, but your clients consciously choose to come. Do you think the social good you do is a motivator for those clients?
Uh, well, we do not tell every client when they come, but basically some clients, when they book trips, they tend to be so friendly, and they would like to know more about what we do as a company. This is not told to every client, but some clients, when they make inquiries and in the process of booking a trip, they like to know more about what we do, how we do. Like, they try to become so friendly to what we do. So in the process, they ask, how do you do? Do you have any other things you do as a Kenedic tours apart from tours? That is when you come in at here, we do donations, orphans, nature people, and others. Then they also decide to also be part of the projects. And others actually, if they booked a trip of let's say 5 days in Uganda, they say, can I add more 3 days for basically visiting the communities that you support? Then also we make it 80 days. So it's how we normally do this. And they're always
So
happy for that.
during the pandemic in the world, there's been a lot of discussion around the idea that people are becoming more thoughtful about travel. I have many friends and peers who say, I hope I travel with more purpose. The idea of sustainable and regenerative travel is really taking hold. It's sweeping the West like a bit of a wildfire. How do we make it regenerative? You focused on regenerative and restorative travel from the beginning. Do you think you could up the messaging of what you're doing so that people can find you and talk about a little more in your lead in stuff about how regenerative you are? Because I think it's an example for the rest of the world. I think it's very important that you highlight that. And I am seeing a huge cohort of people who are choosing to travel in a more sustainable way.
Yes, pandemic has affected everything, yes, but the good thing we've kept in touch with everyone has been here in Uganda. And at this time, me, I'm almost forgetting about the pandemic that we had in 2019 and 2020 because now most of the people are now forgetting about it. One thing I've realized is that most people are just tired of being home. A lot of restrictions from different countries, and people have been held, people have been limited from traveling to different countries, and now everyone is just tired of leaving home. They want to travel and go out, they see what is there.
We
Especially,
are tired, Kenneth, but we want to go to places that are making a difference. And I think yours is an exceptional little model, started, as I said, by one man, one young man, to do something good for his society. And I think that message is really important. I'm inspired. I have an imperial sort of sense of safari, and it's very negative and it's very impactful. And when I listen to your guerrilla tours and just how they work, I'm moved a by the experience, but b by the fact you're so careful to serve the communities in and around where you do the tour. So tell me a little bit about a guerrilla tour. Let's take the audience on a little walk. How does the guerrilla tour work? And tell me some of those stories you told me earlier.
uh, to take you a little bit back, we've been affected somehow, maybe for the Goya tracking, because of all that, when the pandemic came, some places were closed. Let's say some places were closed because of the pandemic. We look at the gorilla tracking, gorillas are like human beings, and they could actually, there are some gorillas they tested and they found them having COVID-19. They tested positive of COVID. Yes, but they were treated and they're now okay. So due to that, sometime in 2019 and 2020, they limited the tracking of the gorillas, and that was a bit challenging to some areas. For someone who was interested in doing a gorilla tracking safari in Uganda, and then they hear that they cannot do the tracking because gorillas are so sensitive to the COVID-19, then it means it was not good for them. Another thing, we in the pandemic, we supposed to use the masks, putting on the masks when you're traveling with people. And then, so when you go for wheel track, you need to put on a mask. We found some side a little bit challenging to us because these gorillas have been used to people who are not putting on the masks. Maybe they could see people putting on a mask. Maybe the doctors who go to treat them because they normally treat them putting on the mask, as you know, the doctors do. So
Sure.
when you go there and they see you putting on a mask, they think a doctor has come and the doctors are going to inject them with the injection. So it has always been a challenge, and now we had to take another step to train
Those
these
those
gorillas that please,
those are some pretty smart gorillas.
yeah, yes. So now we had to take another responsibility of training these gorillas about how people are going to be putting on the masks. So it also took us another two
No,
months
wait a minute. Wait a
training
minute.
the
You
gorillas.
actually are able to work with a group of gorillas and actually desensitize them to masks, and they learn and understand that, and it worked.
We make these gorillas understand, that nowadays it's not only the doctors who come with the masks, but all the other visitors also come with the masks. So
That
it's
is
been a bit
that is
challenging.
that is fascinating. That is fascinating. I was going to ask you about living in harmony with nature, but it's a two-way street, as you just point out. You talked about in your early life experience, you watched animals being killed, and that really hurt you, and you decided you would build a sustainable life with nature. Is your life then about this for the rest of your life? Or are you going to work in Central Africa and bring people to see phenomenal things and basically share what you do with the world? Is that what you're going to do for the rest of your life?
Yeah, for the rest of my life, anything that leaves tourism and conservation aside is just out of my life. So the rest of my life from now is just tourism, conservation, see people living in harmony with nature, people enjoying the nature because nature is the gift we have. I see people enjoying the gift we have. I see the wildlife not dying of the accidents because of the overspeeding cars on the roads, no snakes being killed, no lion being killed for the medicine and whatever, no animals dying, no birds dying. Is the life I want to live for the rest of my life.
Okay, and that fills you up. That really does make you happy, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I think that's
And
phenomenal. I think you found an incredible calling. I've watched some of the videos. I mean, I it's hard to look at that and see those gorillas and see their immense strength, but their immense gentleness, and to look in their eyes. So you talk to me about people often walk up after an hour of hiking through the bush. They often see their first gorilla, and what's their first reaction? What do they do?
um, when someone is hiking to see the gorillas and you walked for some 6 hours. Some people walk for 6 hours, others 3 hours, others 1 hour. So others, if you walked for long and you start sweating, there's something that discourages some clients. When they go for water tracking, you are advised to pack your lunch. So when someone hears, "Oh, I'm going to pack my lunch," it means I'm going to be walking for the whole day. Or so they get scared. So they start walking. If they walk for, let's say, for hours, they start sweating and getting tired. But by the time they land into the face of the mountain gorilla, you see someone bursting into that, cries, they cry, they happy, excited. At times you get scared, you think someone is hurt. But they're just excited and you see them crying because of maybe the excitement and the happiness that they have facing the gorilla.
How
So
do the
a lot of
gorillas
reaction.
how do the gorillas react?
For the gorillas, they know we human beings and we're going to visit them. Every group is given 8 people per day to go and see them. So when we have both wild gorillas and habituated gorillas. So basically, we normally visit the habituated gorillas. So when they see us, they see the normal people. But of course, these are wild people, wild gorillas. They're always in the forest. They cannot be exactly like human beings. So we are also taught of how we behave when we see the gorillas. At times, I'll share with you some of the pictures. One time, I'll give you an example. I went for the gorilla tracking, and then as I was in the process of taking the pictures, the camera. So when I got my camera to take the photos, a gorilla looked at me as my one eye was closed, and then was like trying to see what to do what I'm doing. Then the gorilla did like this, trying to take the gorilla to take the photos as I was trying to do. It's a sign that they also feel like they will do what exactly we're doing. And then
Yes.
another thing, when we find them, they know we are visitors. So in case they want, that time they try to come touching us, they will come to touch you, touch your body, smell from your clothes.
Wait a
No,
minute.
then they
A
go back.
three a 300-pound gorilla comes up and touches you.
Yes, a gorilla comes to touch your face, touch your body. At times they can pull you, they can hold your arm, and then they make you walk with them. Then they dump you from there. Then you just
These
enjoy the experience, but they don't fight.
they're gentle.
Yeah, they are really gentle. They don't fight unless if you fight them. When it comes maybe when a gorilla is somehow scared of maybe someone being close to them, they make
Sure,
some
sure.
warning by hitting their chest maybe. And when a
Yes,
gorilla does that, it's trying to find out if they find you scared, it means you're an enemy. If you show them that you're not
right.
scared, it means you are friendly to them.
Kenneth, that that just sounds magical. I'm so excited. I've got to come and see you and be part of this because it does sound magical. But what's also great is this idea that you take 30% of your profits. I mean, that's unheard of here in North America. In some, how many people do you know in other businesses that take a third of their profits and give back to the community? Is that normal in your communities, or do you know other people like that's a remarkable accomplishment?
Yes, one, we not everyone can do this, but as I told you in the beginning, that this is the passion and the reason why I came into tourism. So I cannot leave out my intentions for tourism, but rather I should keep them moving on. So not everyone is, because most of people are doing this for basically the business to get the profits. So now what we do, take an example, we have got 374 orphans living across the national parks, and we have communities living across the national parks of about 400 people who live across the national parks. And then all these people, we support them. We have their details, we have ages, forms having all their information, their locations, their ages, and all that, the number of people they have in the communities and the families, so everything. So what we do when you get the funds, the donations, 30% of our profits, we allocate and know, because now at this time we know that the group of people from this age to this age need this kind of a support. Like now in Uganda, schools have just reported and children are going back to school. So we're now looking at giving them the scholastic materials for school use, the school fees, and the clothes. So now the mature people living across the national parks are now at this time not part of our package. We're just focusing now on the young
So
children, orphans who are going back to school.
so when you do this and you give back to the community in a sustainable way, I'm guessing the community knows that the source of this resource is tourism. They know that tourism is creating resources and opportunity. That makes for a virtuous
Yes.
circle, doesn't it? Because then they safeguard the asset, they safeguard the parks and the gorillas, and they know that it's sustainable, don't they?
Yes, actually, when we visit them, always remind them that the money we brought for you, the food we bought for you, all the things we are giving you, and everything, and the water facilitation and the medication, are all we got them from the tours we make, which tours are done by the people who come to see these animals. So if these animals wake up in the morning and they're all dead, we shall not longer get any support. So they also help us. So in case anyone enters the park and they see them, immediately they give us a call and then we do that action.
So you basically, by sharing, have recruited the community to be part of tourism. And we have a saying here we use all the time: the best destinations are the result of engaged communities that take an active role in shaping their future. Those communities are very active in tourism, well beyond just the tour company. Then,
Um, both the communities, because we also have the representatives from the communities, both the local communities take part and also some other tour companies do. And we said that we also have some people who also basically not coming for the tours, but they say at the end of the month, I'm going to send my $100 so that you can go and support the communities. Because they've ever been there, they've tested what we basically do for the community. So we do this by the help of the local people. So among the communities, we select their leaders. So we select the leaders of the communities, and then they be helping us about the updates. Someone is sick, because now in this world, some people can always lie. I need this. I'm sick. I need to go to the hospital. When they want the money, when they want to get the free money from you. So we do have the local people who represent us. They keep giving us updates about what basically we need to do. And then also our team from the office can always visit the communities to see basically what exactly we have to do to the community. So it's very easy for us.
so if I said to you, then, okay, bottom line, tourism, the way you're running it, is a force for good in your communities, and people see that. Um, you're not worried about over tourism. You're attracting people who are respectful of your norms and your traditions and how you do things. You see a future of Africa where tourism becomes even more capable of making communities better. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see. Because everyone is liking what we do, and actually, we also are inspiring some other tour operators and tour guides and other people in tourism to also join us in this cause of helping the local communities. We've been teaching them and showing them the use of supporting the local communities. Because I'll give you an example. Last year, we lost 25 lions in Queen Elizabeth National Park. That was in Ishasha, the southern sector of the park. Why did these lions die? Some of them were poisoned because the lions escaped and went to the community and ate their animals, goats, sheep,
So the
cows.
lions, hang on, the lions are poisoned because they were poaching animals from the community?
Yes. So
Okay,
they
got it.
were annoyed and they went to kill them. Yes. So when we engage everyone about this and they be part of the communities and support, it means at least everyone is wanting to do this. And on monthly basis, we receive new people who want to give us the support for what we do. So time will come, I'm not sure, when where we just focus on supporting the communities than advertising the tours, because already we shall be having the grants, and now focus will be on supporting the communities. Yeah.
So
So
in that case though, where you have a conflict like that with the lions, how I mean, people are very, afraid of lions, and yeah, how do you deal with that? How do you do that in a way that becomes sustainable or safe?
Yes, one thing we've done is alerting the communities, teaching them about how they can make sure one, they don't work at night. If you're working at night, you go when you're two and you should be having a torch or a spotlight. So in
Yes.
case a lion comes, they see the torchlight, they just disappear. So in case you see
Really?
them, even if they run away, let us know. Yes. The same applies to other animals like elephants. And then another thing that we do is we've started fencing some of the national parks, like Queen Elizabeth National Park, because part of the Queen Elizabeth National Park is in DRC, in Congo. And also we lost some lions which go to Congo, and then some Congolese people cut off part of their body parts, like the legs, hooves, and other parts for their herbal medicine. So we're trying to have some fence surrounding the national park so that these animals won't be able to escape and go to these places.
Okay, that makes lots of sense. Let me ask you this. You talk about other tourism organizations. I take it, as a young 28-year-old entrepreneur who's making a difference, and I really commend you, Kenneth. It's a pleasure to meet you. I love the work you're doing. Are you
Thank you.
talking? Is there a tourism association that you work with? As a tour guides association, or other groups that are starting to share your philosophy?
Uh, Here in Uganda, we work with the local guides uh, who work with us, and we make sure everyone is taught, whether you're working in the office or in the field, you're taught how to live, to sensitize the communities about how they can live better with animals. And also, we just have other donors and supporters from other countries. We've got a company, it's the Green Stamp in Netherlands. We have the travel creators in Australia. We have also Felix, that is in USA. They also support what we do, and for them, their commitment is to be sending us the clients because they know we get these funds from the clients. So they also give us uh, the clients who we get the profits from, and then you get part of the commission given to the communities. They also give other people idea about what we do, so they can also support directly. So at times, at the end of the month, one can send like $20, $30, $50. I say, I want this money to be given to the orphans. I want this money to be given to the local communities. Maybe this should go to the conservation, and I get the report later when you've done this. We basically do that, and we're looking forward to extend it and let almost everyone know about it. We've got many people who benefit much from the environment and the nature and the wildlife, but they're not aware, so they don't know. So we're also trying to fight hard much to to see that they also know how best they live with. If everyone knew how good environment and wildlife is to our lives, then world will be the best place to live in. So we're also trying to do that. So we've got many people who are supporting us.
Well, I admire what you're doing. You are an exceptional young man, but if I could underline one thing, I've met many young business entrepreneurs who are bright and who are motivated like you, but rarely do I meet one um, whose whole life purpose is wrapped up in doing something, not just for their business, but for the good of the community. So I commend you on that. I believe the tourism has a huge power to heal and restore, and you are one of the best examples of a single business started by a young man coming out of university who decided to make a difference. And I thank you for that. So on that note, I'm just going to say to you, do you have anything else to say to anybody who's listening about travel and tourism in the world, not necessarily just to Africa, and what we need to do next in this potentially very positive industry?
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. David. Yeah, a lot of things need to be noted. Either you've traveled before, you're planning to travel, or you plan to travel in the future. It's the time you need to think, because when you travel to different places, you meet new people, you get new ideas. Everything has to change. No one goes to a new place and comes back again like the same, like the way they went. It has never been possible, because I've been to many places, I've visited many people, I've found new friends, I've found new people, I end up with new ideas, and everything has to change. So it's part of what has made this business keep pushing and moving on, because as we travel, we get new ideas which will come and we inject in the business, and our normal life, the real life, also changes. So now, if one is planning to travel, it's not about the budget. It's not about where I should go. I'm sure I've got many local tours guides, many local tour consultants, many local tour operators and companies which are ready to help. About what to do, there are a lot of things you can do. We have even people who go for travels basically to donate. They say, me, I'm going to Africa, basically to donate. I'll give an example. I have a group of people from Netherlands and Thailand. They are coming to visit Uganda, basically not for the trips, but just to live with the local communities. Even yesterday, I had a conversation with a friend from USA. They are a group of 20, and basically they travel to different countries to basically donate. They want to go to the communities, they shoot with people, they dig with people, they cook with people, they do all the works, they go graze animals with people, they do everything with the people. They really enjoy what people do, the real life that people live with in the local communities. So it's part of what someone would do. So that's why I've told you, budget should not be the reason why someone should travel.
Well,
Budget is, yeah.
those are wise words to live by. I do indeed agree, and I know so many people who said, especially coming out of the pandemic, they want to travel with purpose, and I can't think of a more purposeful destination right now than coming and seeing what you're doing. And I commend you again. I love what you're doing, and I think it's a lesson to all of us. Sometimes I'm asked, can one person make a difference when it comes to sustainability or regeneration or climate change or poverty? And I will hold up as my example my young 28-year-old friend Kenneth as a shining example. Yes, if you apply yourself, you can make a difference. So Kenneth, thank you so much for that. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to seeing you in person.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for your time, and thanks for loving I love what you do. The sensitization is very good. It gives us hope that you have people all there out fighting for us and supporting our vision and mission. So I'm so grateful. I thank you so much.